making headlines this hour. Maldivian government welcomes the half-day visit by the EU-UK delegation to the Maldives. Economic Minister briefs the government of China on the current political situation in the Maldives. And Finance Ministry assures that it continues to monitor the impact of recent political events on the tourism sector, the Maldivian economy and the public finances.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Nasma Abdul Muhsin and this is PSM News. Vice President Abdullah Jihad departs Maldives to attend the Global Dialogue for Happiness and the World Government Summit to be held in Dubai from the 10th to the 13th of February. The Maldivian Vice President is taking part in the summit on invitation of the government of the United Arab Emirates. The World Government Summit 2018 is a global platform dedicated to shaping the future of governments worldwide. Each year, the summit sets the agenda for the next generation of governments with a focus on how they can harness innovation and technology to solve universal challenges facing humanity. The World Government Summit is a knowledge exchange platform at the interaction between governments, futurism, technology and innovation. It functions as a thought leadership platform and a networking hub for policymakers, experts and pioneers in human development. The summit will consist of keynote speeches and panel discussions by national leaders, eminent speakers and global experts from all around the world. Approximately 4,000 participants from 140 countries will be attending the summit. The government of Maldives welcomes the half-day visit by the EU-UK delegation to the Maldives. During the visit, the delegation met with Foreign Secretary Ahmed Sarid in the absence of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, who is currently in Pakistan as a special envoy of the President, and senior officials at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The delegation had successful discussions on the current situation with the Foreign Secretary, during which meetings with cabinet ministers were requested. However, since cabinet meetings were already in session, the delegation chose to leave. Special envoys of the President are currently visiting several friendly countries. Minister of Economic Development Mohammed Said has travelled to China with Minister of Fisheries and Agriculture Dr. Mohammed Shaini in Saudi Arabia. India was the first nation for envoys to be proposed to visit. However, India could not receive envoys at the time due to the unavailability of senior government officials. The government has extended an invitation to all development partners and organizations to assess the current situation in the Maldives and to observe and independently verify for themselves that life remains unaffected, with peace and calm prevailing across the nation. Economic activity remains unaffected, with no restrictions on travel in and out and within the country. According to the statement released by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the government also stands ready to engage and conduct constructive dialogue to discuss and provide clarification on issues relating to the ongoing developments in the country, and has a dedicated team of cabinet ministers ready to meet any further foreign delegations. Minister of Economic Development Mohammed Said briefs the government of China on the current political situation in Maldives. The Maldivian Economic Minister travelled to China as part of the President's envoys sent to friendly nations to provide updates on the current situation in the country. During the visit, Economic Minister Said met with Foreign Minister of China Wang Yi and briefed about the current situation in Maldives. During the meeting, the Economic Minister said the government will protect the Chinese people and institutions in Maldives. Minister Said said the Maldivian government was committed to upholding the rule of law and order to guarantee stability. The Chinese Foreign Minister in China believes the Maldivian government and people can handle the current issues and restore order. Minister Wang said China will not interfere in the internal affairs of Maldives and noted that China supports the attempts of the Maldivian government to settle differences with other parties through dialogue and consultation. The Chinese minister called on the international community to play constructive roles in the stability and development of Maldives and show respect for the country. Expressing his hope that bilateral ties will have a healthy and steady future, Wang Yi said China has provided assistance to Maldives throughout the years and the cooperation greatly benefits the Maldivian people. Under the objective of briefing friendly nations with the latest political developments in Maldives, Minister of Economic Development Mohammed Said has travelled to China, Minister of Foreign Affairs Dr. Muhammad Asim has travelled to Pakistan, and Minister of Fisheries and Agriculture Dr. Muhammad Shaini has travelled to Saudi Arabia. Earlier, the Maldivian government has invited development partners and representatives from international organizations and associations to visit Maldives to assess the situation in the country. Ministry of Finance and Treasury assures that it continues to monitor the impact of recent political events on the tourism sector, the Maldivian economy and public finances. In a press release, the Finance Ministry stated that the government is confident that the impact on the tourism sector would be minimized and expressed confidence in the Maldivian economy's resilience to bounce back with any challenges, domestic or international. The ministry also said that by working together with the private sector, the administration is ready to take necessary measures to counter macroeconomic and fiscal shocks. Highlighting the government of Maldives has a proud distinction of honoring international and domestic debt obligations, the ministry said despite changes in the ruling governments in the past, Maldives has never defaulted or restructured the country's debt. The ministry also said that the government continues to update the situation with international organizations and bilateral partners, including creditors. The ministry assured that the ongoing mega infrastructure projects that are fully funded, such as the Velana International Airport upgrading project, the China-Maldives Friendship Bridge project, and Dharmawat Hospital Development project would proceed without disruptions. Ambassador of Maldives to Sri Lanka, Mohammed Hussein Sharif, states the attempted coup by the opposition was defeated by the strategic approach of the administration of President Abdullah Yameen Abdul Qayyum. Speaking on Maldives Today TV program aired on PSM News, Ambassador Mohammed Hussein Sharif said a coup was attempted by the opposition and individuals within the judiciary backing them.
Speaking on Maldives Today TV program aired on PSM News, Ambassador Mohammed Hussein Sharif said a coup was attempted by the opposition and individuals within the judiciary backing them. The ambassador said the state of emergency declared by President Abdullah Yameen Abdul Qayyum on February 5 does not restrict any individual from living their daily routine. Ambassador Mohammed Hussein Sharif cited that all places of work, businesses, schools, governments and social services, travel, including all domestic and international airports and leisure facilities all remain fully open and operational. The Maldivian ambassador applauded the strategic approach of the administration of President Yameen to defuse the attempt to topple the government. Mohammed Hussein Sharif cited that the coup was attempted by the backing of judicial sector and witnessed the involvement of two former presidents and powerful and influential individuals.
The very fact that the judiciary were involved, and not just any appellate of the judiciary, was the Supreme Court itself. That was, we now know, party to this plan, and that a number of very serious issues have now come to light, including bribery, attempts at reversing beyond the very much outside of the powers, which is actually extensive, of the Supreme Court, as is the case in any country.
Shedding light on the effects of foreign influence on the nation, Ambassador Mohammed Hussein Sharif highlighted the foreign policy adopted by President Yameen is embraced internationally. But the kind of influence former President Nasheed is inviting to Maldives is harmful to the nation's safety and security. In this regard, Ambassador cited that former President Nasheed would do anything to come to power and stated that the judgment by Supreme Court on February 1 demanded the release of a president who tried to control the three powers of Maldives. The ambassador said that the ruling party, being a responsible political party, would never call for increasing international interference in such sensitive situations. The ambassador concluded by calling the opposition to compete in a free and fair election with President Yamin rather than carrying out acts which defames the country.
Nasheed is basically outgo as far as saying is ready to be a puppet of anyone who is ready to do his bidding, and just for the sake of coming to office. Now, if you recall, when he resigned in 2012, or the protests that went ahead before that, when we were in the opposition, at no point did we ever call for international interference or neighboring country to invade the country or have a military presence. I mean, these were no-nos. These are things that we, as a responsible political party, would never ever do.
Muhammad Hussain Sharif was appointed as the ambassador of Maldives to Sri Lanka in 2017. He had previously served as the ambassador of Maldives to Japan and the Minister of Youth and Sports in the current administration.
World-famous travel advisory magazine Condé Nast Traveler reveals that Maldives does not pose any threat to its tourists and visitors and recommends the Maldives as the safest nation to travel.
In an article published by the Condé Nast Traveler, it cited the declaration of the state of emergency on February 5, prompted travel alerts by countries such as US, UK, Australia, China, and India during the island nation's high tourist season. The article noted that these alerts lack severity. In this regard, the travel magazine said that the Maldives has been witnessing various political events since former President Mohamed Nasheed resigned from the office in 2012, and noted that such events mostly takes place in the capital city and does not pose any threat to the tourists traveling to the isolated island nation. The article further highlighted the current life condition in Maldives and stated that all tourism-related businesses are operating as usual and the situation of the Maldives remains stable. According to Condé Nast Travelers, world-famous resorts in Maldives such as Four Seasons Resorts Maldives has confirmed the situation in all parts of Maldives, and the Velana International Airport is calm and operating as usual. Lindsay Valance of Linara Travel, who specializes in travel to the region, has also assured that Maldives remains safe for tourists and stated that there is no reason to stop traveling to Maldives as the protests are taking place in the capital city and not in the resorts. Condé Nast Travelers is ranked one of the top-notch travel advisory magazines and is read by millions of people worldwide.
Most Maldivians believe the state of emergency declared by President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Qayyum has not affected their daily routine. On the same note, expatriates and foreigners living in Maldives also share the same belief.
With the declaration of state of emergency on February 5, various foreign countries such as US, UK, Australia, China and India issued travel advisories to the nation. In addition, various international organizations and associations have raised concern about the situation in Maldives. In these advisories, the international community has called on the Maldivian government to ensure the safety and security of tourists and expatriates living in the country. A high percentage of foreigners are involved in the public and private sector of Maldives. They expressed that there is no difficulty to lead their normal life, even with the declaration of state of emergency.
That there is an emergency happening on Mali, so we didn't feel like a much difference.
Normally I don't see any difference. I feel it's the same way how it is, the more Mali. It's more comfortable for me. It's like same feel what I have before.
We didn't see any this kind of emergency, something like so we feel it's okay. The thing is it's as usual, like no.
Because I came yesterday evening, but I didn't see like this because I did my normal things without any rupture.
As several foreigners living in Maldives have expressed, a curfew is not imposed and everybody have the freedom of carrying out general movement, services and businesses.
Maldives Broadcasting Commission (MBC) states the temporary shutdown of opposition-aligned broadcasting channel Raja TV was against the Maldives Broadcasting Act. According to MBC, a notice of 15 days has to be given prior to a suspension of broadcasting of a TV channel. MBC revealed that legal action would be taken against Raja TV for not abiding by the act. In 2016, Raja TV resumed its broadcast services after suspending it for 2 days. Ruling Progressive Party of Maldives PPM says Raja TV suspended its regular broadcast as the channel found itself guilty of not following the laws and regulations. Speaking at a press briefing shortly after Raja TV suspended its broadcast, Vice President of PPM Abdurrahim Abdullah said the Maldivian government has never interfered in the practices of journalism in Maldives. The Vice President of PPM cited the government never aimed to terminate the broadcasting of Raja TV. Abdurrahim Abdullah said Raja TV suspended its broadcast in an attempt to accuse the government of narrowing press freedom in Maldives. However, he reiterated the commitment of the administration to provide a free and fair platform in Maldives to practice freedom of expression and noted that several local television channels are operating in Maldives. Maldives National Defense Force (MNDF) issued a statement advising media outlets to spread true, authentic news and refrain from spreading content which may threaten national security. The statement noted that some local outlets were responsible of inciting hatred and fear in among the public through live broadcast events. MNDF said legal action would be taken against such media outlets by the authorities and that the military reserves the right to shut down such agencies without any prior warning. Minister of Youth and Sports Irtisham Adam states the administration of President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Qayyum has shown exemplary efforts in the empowerment of youth in Maldives. Addressing the ceremony held to inaugurate Youth Challenge 2018, Youth Minister Irtisham Adam cited that youth have been a marginalized part of the society for a long time. The minister said the current administration has broken the norm and has been carrying out various innovative approaches to uphold the importance of youth in the society. Minister Irtisham Adam highlighted that the government aims to provide youth with proper job opportunities and revealed the Youth Challenge is expected to facilitate over 800 job opportunities. Youth Challenge is considered as one of the grand opportunities for youth to attain job opportunities. Youth Challenge 2018 consists of 88 stalls and is held at Darbarge Convention Center. The exhibition, now in its 19th year, will conclude on the 10th of February. The non-resident ambassador of Thailand to Maldives, Chulamani Chatsuwan, states that the developmental projects initiated by the Maldivian government has paved way for major progress in the bilateral relations between Maldives and Thailand. Speaking on Talk Maldives TV program aired by PSM News, the Thailand ambassador cited that the Crossroad project, conducted in Embudu Lagoon, is a mega project which plays an integral role to attract investors to Maldives.
Briefing on the Thailand-Maldives relations, Ambassador Chulamani Chatsuwan said that the developmental projects carried out by the administration of President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Qayyum has paved way for major investments from Thailand and other foreign countries. The ambassador emphasized that the Crossroad project, conducted in Embudu Lagoon, is a major milestone as it plays an integral role to attract investors to the Maldives. Ambassador Chulamani Chatsuwan cited the mega developmental project of the expansion of the main gateway of Maldives, Velana International Airport, would further influx the number of Thai tourists to Maldives.
I believe that with the expansion of the new airport and more facilities for tourists, there would definitely be more Thai people coming here. For the moment, we already have 14 flights from Thailand to Maldives, every direct flight. So it's like 2 flights daily.
Speaking on the basis of bilateral relations between Maldives and Thailand, the ambassador revealed that actual foundation of the relations between both nations was laid by the hospitality industry. Ambassador Chatsuwan highlighted that various discussions have been conducted between investors of Maldives and Thailand to increase the scope of business opportunities in both countries. The Thai ambassador said that the relations between Maldives and Thailand provides the true essence of a blend of South Asia and Southeast Asia.
I see that our relationship with Maldives is on the increase recently with tourism and with investment from Thailand to Maldives. I think hospitality business is the basis of our relations.
The non-resident ambassador of Thailand to Maldives, Tulamani Chatsuwan, presented the credentials to President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Qayyum on December 14, 2017. Maldives and Thailand established diplomatic relations on June 21, 1979.
Maldives travel and tour operators Matato participates in the Thai International Travel Fair TITF with 10 Maldivian companies. This is the first international travel fair initiated by the Thai Travel Agents Association. The 4-day fair brings together more than 500 exhibitors representing 35 international destinations. According to Matato, 10 companies including resorts, guest houses and travel agents are taking part in this exhibition to promote Maldives as a destination. More than 500,000 people are expected to visit the fair. The fair is held in this Queen Sirkit National Convention Center in Bangkok from the 7th to 11th of February. Bangladesh jails opposition leader and former Prime Minister Khalida Zia for corruption. As thousands of supporters took to the streets to protest her innocence, her lawyer said that she plans to appeal against her 5-year term.
Former Prime Minister Khalida Zia, her son and aides were convicted of stealing $253,000 in foreign donations received by an orphanage trust set up when she was last Prime Minister from 2001 to 2006. Lawyers said Khalida plans to appeal against her conviction and is likely to be freed on bail during that process. Jail officials said after the verdict, Khalida was escorted to the central jail in the capital, a 3-story red brick structure with barred windows surrounded by trees, to begin serving her sentence in 2 rooms set aside for her. Earlier, police fired tear gas to disperse protesters who gathered to support Khalida, even though authorities cut bus and ferry links into the capital and deployed thousands of riot police to quell lively unrest.
The Court of Arbitration for Sports says it has dismissed 47 appeals from Russian athletes and coaches to participate in the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics.
The Russians have appealed their exclusion from the Games by the International Olympic Committee (IOC) over the doping scandal from the 2014 Sochi Games, but the decision now puts an end to any hopes of quick Olympic return. The IOC in December banned Russia from games over doping in the country that included massive manipulation of doping samples at Sochi Olympics and more than 1,000 athletes across several sports. It also banned dozens of athletes from the games for life and stripped their Sochi Games medals following several investigations into the doping affair. Days earlier, CAS has upheld the appeal of 28 athletes due to the insufficient evidence, but the IOC still refused to invite them, saying the evidence was there. Instead, it invited 169 carefully screened Russian athletes to compete as neutrals under the Olympic flag. Among those appealing on Friday were athletes who were not sanctioned for doping in their careers and were not named specifically in the investigations, with the IOC saying the evidence was there, as was suspicion of wrongdoing. Spokesman for the Olympic athletes from Russia in the Pyeongchang, Konstantin Vibranov, told Reuters he could not immediately comment on the CAS ruling.
And that's all we have for you right now. Thank you for watching. Have a very pleasant day.